bar the door, board up the windows, extinguish the candles, and sleep with your sword under your pillow tonight. Because tonight they sail with dragons. A foggy good morning to you from New England, just outside of Boston. I'm Matt the Greeter. This past weekend, I heard a song which kind of stuck with me, but I couldn't find the title or the singer. But I know the program I was listening to. I was listening to A Celtic Sojourn with the great treasure Brian O'Donovan. He's been the host of that program for, I think, as long as it's been a program. And he played a song. It was a live recording, and I'm not sure who it was who did it, but the song was essentially "They Sail with Dragons." And picture yourself on a rocky cliff overlooking the sea in Ireland, and a storm just hammering away at the cliffs below you. The wind howling, the waves, as it's described. You know how it blows the spindrift and stuff. It's like the white hair, you know, as the wind is raking its claws across the ocean. And that, friends, is the night the monks could finally sleep. Because they who sail with dragons would not be showing up to maraud and plunder and terrify. So in fact, it was the storm that was keeping these monks and other folks safe from the Vikings. The Vikings who eventually kind of came in and settled and, you know, extremely influential in you know, the development of cities like Dublin, Ireland, and whatnot. If you get a chance, read How the Irish Saved Civilization. I can't remember who wrote it. You'll remember, somebody in the comments. It wasn't me, and it wasn't Brian O'Donovan. But it just got me to thinking about, well, first of all, I mean, think about this. You get the plague is showing up, right? You get bands of different, you know, I don't know who was floating around then. Goths, Visigoths, Angles, Saxons, you know, other like barbaric tribes. You get Vikings coming in, Norsemen. Yeah, Norsemen and Vikings, maybe the same thing, but you get the picture, right? And, you know, you couple that with the plague that I mentioned. So these monks retreated to the cliff sides of Ireland, and they you know, that's where we get the Book of Kells and things like that. They're copying by hand, you know, important manuscripts and books, the Bible, and but every night keeping a watchful eye, because the Vikings knew that those monasteries, that's where all the treasure was, and the gold, and who knows what. It's like the closet, you know, your parents say, oh, just before they leave the house, they leave you alone. Whatever you do not go in the closet. Oh man, and the door clicks shut. Where are you gonna go? Right? So, who knows what's in these monasteries? And that's the point. So, if I'm gonna raid or pillage or maraud or smash and grab, that's where I'm going, man. And so the perspective here is what I'm going through. All right, let me make a couple comparisons, and then I'll get to my point here. I'm thinking about, was it Corrie ten Boom? Who was the Jewish? I don't know if she was Jewish, but she was in a concentration camp, and she was in one of the female barracks or whatever. Not barracks, but you know, where the prisoners were kept, and they had a massive this female barracks had a massive influx of fleas. And it was just absolutely torturing them day, you know, all through the night and whatever, these fleas hopping around. And then somebody made the astute observation, like, you know, these fleas, this infestation is what's keeping the Nazi soldiers from coming in and abusing us. So the fleas were a blessing. And that reminded me of it was an old Chinese story, which I'm going to butcher because it was a long time ago that I heard it, but I'll just hit a couple of the main points, and you can fill in the rest. But a father, you know, thousands of years ago, he won a horse somehow, or he acquired a horse, and it was this incredible, you know, this incredible beast. And I think he gave it to his son or something like that, and the son was riding, and the horse bucked the son off. So winning the horse was very good luck for the man. The horse ended up bucking his son off, and the son landed in a ditch and like broke his back or something, which was horrifying. The dad was almost cursing the horse, like what a terrible blah blah blah. But then all the young men in his town had to go off to battle, and they were routed, and not one of them returned. But his son was spared because his son had been thrown from the horse. And so what was a blessing, which turned into a curse, you know, turned back into a blessing again. So, you know, you get to thinking about the storms of life, you know, like those Irish monks, you know, experienced and whatnot. And you think about, sometimes those are the situations in life that are protecting you from a greater evil, or from whatever, something you can't even imagine, right? Just some unimaginable. So what are you going through today? You know, I got these crazy, I sound sick all the time because I got these like nasal polyps or whatever. I can't breathe through my nose, you know, 99% of the time, and it's miserable, right? Maybe that's protecting me from something, you know? Maybe that's keeping something out of my sinuses that shouldn't be there. Who knows? I don't know, is the crux of it. I don't know. You know, how many of you have lost a job only to wind up in a much better situation? How many of you have you know, lost you go back to when you're young, you lose a girlfriend, you're like, oh man, that was the only girl I'll ever love. And then all of a sudden, you know, fast forward a bunch of years and you're with your wife, and you're like, oh, I'm so glad I'm not with that old girl from back in the day, you know. And side note, she's probably glad she's not with you either. I'll speak for myself. But anyway, if you're going through something crazy now, you can't explain it, it's inexplicable. You know, maybe you're like one of those monks clinging to the craggy cliff, you know, while the storm is blasting around you. It's in that storm you can finally sleep, because when you're in it, all you have to do is get through. And you know, if you have a little faith, that storm may be protecting you from something, you know, even worse than that, you know, like the fleas in the bunker, like the getting thrown from the horse and missing the battle and so living, you know. Hang in there, you know. So people that I hang out with always say, like, don't quit before the miracle happens, right? If the miracle hasn't happened yet, well, don't quit, because the miracle hasn't happened yet, right? If the miracle has happened, you don't want to quit, right? So if you don't know if the miracle has happened yet, listen, it hasn't happened yet. So don't quit. You hear me? All right, guys. I'm Matt the Greeter here. Blasting through. My visor's all fogged up. I'm opening and closing it. But this fog, man, it's a novelty. I like it. I love it. It's keeping it cool. It's going to be 90. I'm going to love it. All right, guys, have a great whatever time of day or night or whatever. And I'll check in with you guys real soon, all right? All right, bye.